And a fine, good day to everyone. It is 9 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. You are here on behalf of Balanced Body and our topic this month for our e-learning series, which is the virtual customer. My name is Erika Quest. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and we are going to get started. We have you for about an hour. I'm not going to lie, these typically run a little bit longer. Stay as long as you can, leave as early as you need. The good news in all of this is that there will be a full recording of this. There will be a chat transcript. We will try and answer as many questions as we can during this next hour and change, but rest assured, we got a lot of questions, and if we can't answer those here, we will try and do that in a follow-up email, and we may even actually have to have a few of these on this topic because let me tell you, you guys almost tapped out our registration on our webinar platform, so this is a hot topic. Again, my name is Erika Quest. I'm here as your co-host. I'm going to introduce all of those fine human beings on the screen in just a moment. But let's take care of a few housekeeping items first. This is a Zoom webinar. This is not a Zoom meeting. You would be surprised how many people are actually looking for their little screen on me. So you are not going to see your little box on the screen. Maria, I'm going to ask you to mute yourself if you don't mind. And you will only see the 4 of these faces during this time. However, that does not mean that you cannot communicate with us. We encourage you to use that chat feature. Shannon Cook, who I'm going to toss the baton to eventually, is going to be helping me monitor that as we move along. Again, I mentioned there are a lot of questions here, so please go ahead and stay in touch with us via the chat. We will do our best. And what I also wanted to let you know that if you are seeing things differently on your screen, what we encourage you to do is play with the speaker view. You can toggle between speaker view as well as gallery view. Or you can actually go to the speaker who has the green ring around their video, go to the triple dot on that upper right-hand corner and hit pin this video. You will then get them in full screen. There will be some screen sharing here, so you'll want to see those PowerPoints, those images as full as possible. So make sure you're playing with that as we go along. So, without further ado, let me mention those fine human beings on the screen. They will do deeper introductions as we toss the baton over to them. First and foremost, not first and foremost, but first we have Maria Leone, who is a Balanced Body Master Instructor and Authorized Training Center based in Los Angeles, California, also known as Beverly Hills. Come out for a visit and see her anytime. We also have Dr. Ada Wells, also based in Alameda, California. That's also known as the Bay Area. Come and visit her anytime. She's on here on behalf of Pro Balance and also her Be Well, Stay Well platform. You'll learn a lot about that as well. As mentioned, I'm Erika Quest. I'll tell you a little bit more about me as I come on third. I'm also here on behalf of Balanced Body and Scott Cartagena, the senior videographer at Balanced Body. We've got his 6 quick tips for you coming soon down the line, and we will leave you with those. Finally, I want to toss it over to Shannon Cook, the phenomenal director of marketing over at Balanced Body. Huge gratitude for letting her have us do all of these. These are happening on a monthly basis. Oftentimes they are more restricted to an audience within Balanced Body. Because of the sign of the times, because of what we are all going through together, she has opened this up to everyone in our industry. So I want to say a big thanks to her for having me. I work on behalf of her with a retainer agreement for the marketing department, and I'm just thrilled to be here. And Shannon, I'm going to hand it over to you. Say any words you'd like to say to the audience and toss it off to Maria.
Perfect. Thanks, Erika. Welcome, everyone. So excited to have you all join us. I was telling Maria and Ada last night, this is, if not the most asked about topic, definitely in the top 3 these days. So I think I feel so honored and blessed to have Maria and Ada and Erika here to share their experiences. They each have kind of a unique set of circumstance, so I think you'll learn a lot. As Erika said, we've got the chat going. Put your questions in there. We'll answer as many as possible. during the session. Any that don't get answered during the session, we will capture all the questions, answer them, and deploy a PDF, a Q&A PDF with the recording tomorrow to everyone who registered for the session. If you don't receive it for some reason, I put my email in there, so just email me. With no further ado, I just want to thank our panelists for making the time and sharing their experiences. We're blessed. So let's get it started. Maria, you're up.
Oh, good morning, everybody. My name's Maria Leone, and I'm broadcasting here from Beverly Hills. My studio is Bodyline, and we typically have about 10 trainers here every day. We have usually private sessions, semi-private sessions, group sessions, as well as a very robust teacher training schedule in conjunction with Balanced Body. And so, gosh, tough times. And I come from a dance background. And so for me, the show must go on. And a lot of the things that I did in the dance world were also live shows. So, God, almost immediately, Erika was saying, God, you just switched so fast. And I honestly thought, like, oh, I'm so late coming to this party. I should have seen this already. But within 2 days, man, we just had to figure it out. And I am not young. I am going to be 54 in about a week. And so this is tough. It's challenging. There's a learning curve. I'm not going to lie. But it's doable. So within days, we had lights, and we decided on the Zoom platform. And the hardest part really for us about all of this was calling clients and training clients on how to use Zoom. It's getting much easier because now people are using Zoom for all different kinds of things. We did not switch. I know MindBody is offering now a integrated platform. The learning curve for our clients are mostly over 40. It's just way too big. We've spent much too much time just training them how to do it. So mostly Zoom, but also we're teaching quite a bit with FaceTime. And I'm also, believe it or not, I'm doing teacher training like this as well, people. You can set up multiple devices and have multiple devices on your Zoom account going at one time. So that's a little bit trickier. I anticipate most of you are not looking to try to teach teacher training online. I do want to, I think, maybe share my screen just so you can have an image a little bit of, hopefully I do this. I still get nervous with technology too, people. Here we go. Let's see. Share. Okay, everyone can see it, right? Okay, so here's some behind the scenes pictures in the studio. So you can see ring lights are absolutely positively key. And the bigger your devices that you're teaching on, the better you're going to see. Also, whatever your client or clients are watching you on, the bigger that device is, the better it's going to be for them. It took me a bit to figure out, like, why can't they see me? And then they say, oh, well, I'm watching you on my phone. And I'm like, oh, okay. So encourage them to be on the biggest device they can. Even an iPad is much better than an iPhone, but an iPhone works. I've taught on everything. So my desktop is what I use when I can. However, I do teach, especially with groups, the desktop is better. Do not cut off your numbers. Take as many people as you can. Having too many people is a good problem. Don't cut it off. Typically, when people come onto Zoom, I ask them to frame themselves. I encourage them to frame themselves as they see me. I do teach that I can see all of my customers. I think in these times, people are looking for a personal interaction. I'm also training people that know me already. And then I can also, I can cue them a little bit. I can actually teach them. I can even just say, good job, like, you're looking great. So the bigger your device, the better. iPads also work. Down in this very last picture to the right, I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff there. So I'm teaching teacher training there, and I have my desktop, and I have my iPad also set up. I also have, you don't see it there, my iPhone also set up, all in the same Zoom meeting. And I'm actually using a projector. So I hooked my projector up to my desktop and I projected the whole screen up to a wall, basically so I could see everybody big. Believe it or not, I actually had people in the studio also. So I had some people virtual, some people in the studio, so they could look up and the people in the studio could see what I was seeing online. And it somehow worked, I don't know, people, show must go on. EarPods has been the best thing for me in terms of sound quality. Gosh, what else can I tell you? You want to chime in and ask me anything, Erika? I'm trying to like run through all the most important things.
Yeah, Maria, can you answer a question? One of our attendees asked, what does frame themselves mean? I put in, Irene, I believe Maria means to pin their video so that you see them in a larger screen format. Is that what you mean?
By training them?
Yeah.
Oh gosh,
like when you're trying to see them, you said, I have them frame themselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. So they can see me and I say, hey, try to place your mat in the same orientation as I have my mat if possible. It's not great when you're seeing like a lot of butt shots. So try to put your mat in the same orientation as mine. The more I can see you, the better it is. The more light you have, the better it is. So try to match what you're seeing of me. Try to do that on your device as well.
Got it. Thank you for that clarification. Better. Yeah, Tracy Sylvester, hi from EHS Pilates in San Francisco. Hi, Trace. She said, how do you deal with projector sound? We tried that and loved the idea. We could not buffer the sound. For teacher training, we are thinking about a larger monitor. Do you have any recommendations?
So I'm not sure exactly what she means by sound. So one thing about the projector was the attendees I was still hearing in my ear, and I don't think everybody in the room could hear. They could see the attendees, but I don't think they could talk back and forth. And I was stuck to the desktop. If I really wanted the people in the room to hear the people that were virtual, I was stuck with the audio on the desktop. But I just kind of dealt with it, and then I chose to do more more exercises where the people in studio, I would have the people on screen and I would be talking to them and I'd say, hey, everybody hold your 100 position. And then the people in studio, I'd be like, okay, here's 6 bodies. Tell me what you see, kind of a thing. And then I'd do the same thing with the other thing. So I just used them as 2 groups. So they didn't have to actually have vocal interaction, but I was using their bodies and their shapes. I hope that answers.
Yeah, well, you can see there's a lot of projectors coming in and suggestions, which is great. You guys keep it up in the chat, because if you're using larger formats and you're using larger projectors, we want to see what's working for you. Sometimes it could be the hum of the projector. You're absolutely right. Earbuds would potentially cancel that out. What I've used and I bought is my kind of secret weapon is the AirPods Pro. So these are the noise canceling ones. They're about $100 more than the regular AirPods, but they have a great microphone. I will also give you the little HD camera that actually you see me on right now, which ups your zoom and your camera quality quite majorly. But it is, I think when you're doing teacher training and or you're really trying to see your participants, the larger the format that you can be working with, the better. And it's going to be, it's going to be a lot of sleuthing around, because much like all of our brick and mortars, no one brick and mortar is the same geographically and look wise. At the same time, you're going to have to apply that same strategy to the virtual environment as well. And I know that when we toss the baton over to Dr. Ada Wells, she's going to have a ton of information with regards to this as well. But please keep it up in the chat. It looks like, oh, Ada said, I have used both AirPods and AirPods Pro. They are both equal for me. So that's great. And Kim Stern, hey Kim, I'm using a mixer and an instructor mic since I'm a Google/Android person. Yes, that's right. We're not all Apple people. So I want to know if we could backtrack for you, Maria, just a little bit. when you did make that initial pivot, because you got to realize that some people really haven't even made that initial pivot, what was the first thing that you did to start to get your clients, or at least get some cash flow back into the studio?
So here's the thing. The first thing is reaching out to your clients. Your clients want to hear you. They want to just have human contact. So we made a phone call. Hey, how are you doing? You know, I'd love to, you know, let's spend a couple of minutes just stretching, right? So that we did on FaceTime. So just to kind of show them like, hey, look, this isn't that weird. Look, you can follow me. Yeah, let's just breathe, and talking to them. And then the next step was also, because many of my clients did not think they could do mat Pilates, right? So I'm not selling them mat Pilates. I'm selling them my services. So my services are as a mat instructor, but I am a Pilates instructor. I'm a fitness instructor. I'm a movement specialist. I'm selling those 9 Pilates, you know, principles: breathing, breath, alignment, control, all of those principles. So it's kind of restructuring their thinking. And so I teach a lot in a chair, especially for my older clients. I teach a lot in a chair, and I teach a lot with a pillow, and I teach a lot with a can of beans. And here's the other thing, is that especially I have clients over 80. Like an hour without a reformer is a little bit tough, but we also sold them on 30 minutes.
Yes.
Anybody can teach 30 minutes. You have a chair, you have a pillow. I don't even put them on the ground sometimes. You stand them up and you do releve. So it's just getting to them, putting in a phone call. Number one, it just seems like good customer service. Like, hey, I was thinking about you today. How are you holding up? Like, let's spend a couple minutes stretching. Here, I'm going to put you on FaceTime. Boom. Oh, hey, this is so great. It's so nice to see your face. This is so much better. I'm like, yeah, you know, let's just stretch, you know, and that kind of gets it going. And then you let them know, you know what, you want to try 30 minutes. 30 minutes is so easy. So
no,
that
it's
was a lot of it.
It's a very simple but great recommendation. I got the same question because the majority of my clients are active aging clients, right? And so they were really intimidated to start to use technology and start to use Zoom. So we did very much the same thing and did kind of like a lot of IT work and working with them. And I have to tell you, they love it. And so I, in a previous session that I taught, I got the question of like, how'd you get all of your active agers online? And I have to tell you, you guys, it was tough love. I didn't give them a choice. I said, if you cannot get to me right now in real life, you have to get to me online, and I will help you do it. And you will be able to talk to your grandchildren during this time. So you tell them all of those extra values that this is going to offer them. And I'm telling you, from week 1, I had consistently all 8 of my people that were just in it to win it. And they were like, can we add to this? And in fact, now that I'm sort of a little bit of a modicum of both, we're keeping some of this hybridized programming happening for them going forward. Because one of the things that I saw with them, as you guys probably saw as well, Maria, is that they got incredibly strong having to navigate their body weight again.
Yes. They did. Even, you know what, my own self even as well. I'm on the reformer. I'm springing up. I'm springing everything up. I'm so surprised and I'm like a little embarrassed to even say it, but I'm springing everything up now from doing so much mat work. That's a secret.
Shannon, did you have something to say or ask?
Yeah, just one more question for Maria. Can you speak a little bit about your pricing model for virtual?
Yes. Okay, so the pricing, number one, in Beverly Hills is all over the place. People are charging anywhere from free to $30 for a mat session. We started at $10 a class. Huh?
For the $30 mat.
For $30 for a mat session. We've cut everything to 45 minutes or 50 minutes. So we've started with $10 a class just to kind of get stuff rolling, and then I kind of was like, you know what, I'm never going to make money at $10 a class. So we are charging $15 an individual mat session, and then so we are also, I have a desktop in my main studio when we're open. I have my desktop in the main studio, and so I have 2 or 3 virtual customers doing a reformer group while there are people in the studio doing a reformer group. We charge $25 for that, which is less. It's about $15 less than the person in the studio. But then for privates, everything is the same. It's the same pricing. And of course, for 30 minutes, it's cheaper. And that's just sort of how we've done it. Keep in mind, I do have a fairly lucrative clientele.
Right.
But the pricing is really all over the place in the city.
That's a good start, though. That's a good.
Yeah, and I think to reiterate, because Ada's chiming in on the chat too, and kind of like reaffirming some of these things. I think in the beginning of all this, we were like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? Let's just get started. And that's a good way to go about things, you guys. But I want to remind all of us that doesn't mean that you need to stay the same, right? This is an ever shifting, shaping world. So if you did start on the free angle and you got everyone incorporated, now you're worried about like how they're gonna feel if you make some changes. I think that you'll be pleasantly surprised that you won't feel much of heat if you actually do a rate increase or you change schedule. So try and play with that a little bit, because even from my perspective, I struggled with like, wow, but we're virtual. Should I be charging the same rates? My opinion is yes, you should, because it's actually more exhausting to be doing this right now. Because if I was in my studio, I wouldn't be having to do all this woo, right, and hand waving. It's actually more exhausting to be on a camera in front of them because you don't get that feedback. So make sure that you're making what you deserve to be making during this time. Shannon, do you have any other questions?
That's great. That's a great place to stop. We have lots of questions, but that's a great place.
Can I say one more thing about the pricing?
Yes.
It's good to, while you're figuring it out and you know things aren't going to really be perfect, that's a good time to discount it. Like, it's a dress rehearsal. I'm charging $10. I'm getting this stuff up. And then once you really feel like you have all your ducks in a row, now it's like hard launch. Okay, now body line, $20 or $25. But so start with something while you're still not confident about what you're doing, and then take it up. Absolutely take your price up.
That's great.
I agree. All right, I'm going to cancel you, Maria, not in a bad way, but I'm going to ask Ada to come on and unmute herself, and I will spotlight her video. Dr. Ada Wells is here, Pro Balance PT, as well as her wonderful Be Well, Stay Well platform. Take it away, my friend.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Erika and Balanced Body, for doing this. And kind of, your spirit of wanting to open things up to everybody is where actually my own platform and my own journey with what we've done is going. So it actually is very congruent. And congruency is always a good thing in Pilates. But anyways, just to give you guys a little quick rundown, I am a physical therapist. So what's a little bit different about my business versus maybe some of yours, if you're not a physical therapist, is PT is an essential business. So there was some element where we could continue some in-person operations. That being said, I have 3 high-risk people that live in my household. I had one of our PTs that was on maternity leave, was about to give birth, another one who has a high-risk husband. So really, in essence, we shut most things down as well with very, very few people. So there really wasn't too much difference in that. Now, the big difference might be that I have been dabbling in the online world, and I've put many, many hours of my own mistakes and lessons learned for maybe about the past 5.5 years and beyond. I first started putting YouTube videos up in 2007, and I think the very first one I put up was terrible, and it got like 3.5 million hits. So it went viral, and it was about posture, but it was all about what you title it. And that was a very important lesson for me. It was how to lose 10 pounds in 5 seconds. And it was a posture video, right? So that was really kind of my first little kind of like, oh, this is kind of an interesting place to be able to play. So over the years, the last several years, I have, because we do teacher training here as well, I am a Polestar educator and a host. We're our host site here at Pro Balance. So yes, I was actually already incorporating over the past few years some level of online support. I've been using Zoom for a few years. So we actually, within our teacher training here, we would have study group sessions that had that were basically running with both live and people that were remote. So those who lived a little further away could still get the benefit. And that worked really great. We would save the recordings and I would upload them into a third-party platform so they would have the recordings to refer to later on. And that's probably another question a lot of you guys are having now, because I think the first part for a lot of you guys was, oh my gosh, Zoom, what is Zoom? How do I use it? And once you learned how to use it and you kind of went, oh wait, and I can record these. Hey, people want the recordings. Where do I put them? How do I deal with that? How do I charge for that? How do I put it behind a pass wall, a paywall? And these are the things that I actually ended up doing. So from a resource standpoint, certainly I can talk a lot about that, but I won't spend too much time on it right now. And the reason why, I'm going to share my screen here for a second, just so that you guys sort of know who you're dealing with here. Let me come back in here. So just FYI, if you are interested in kind of just while we're sitting here and you're jotting down notes, bewellstaywell.net is actually the website, is the membership site we created. Now we decided not to go the individual class model. So this is different from Maria's studio where they are teaching per person. Because I already had a third-party platform that I already knew how to operate, and I knew how to be able to take some payment via that, I decided to go straight into a membership model and go for numbers. So back to the pricing question, know your intention. What is your intention of your pricing? What is your intention of your free class? It is awesome to do free classes and free snippets of what you do on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram. I for fun this morning, just for the heck of it, I went incognito on my browser and I searched Erika Quest and I searched Leone and I searched myself and I looked at what came on the first page. And so Maria, very first thing came up are YouTube videos. Remember that Google and YouTube are the same animal, right? Then Pilates Anytime, then her website, Facebook, a HuffPost article you had, Amazon for a DVD that I own of yours, and then LinkedIn. All right, so that was just an interesting, okay. Now actually, I looked at mine. It was a very different look. My first thing that came up was my website with my name, then in my LinkedIn profile. So how many of you guys are using LinkedIn? A lot of people don't. LinkedIn is a 21st century resume, you guys. It's a great place and it's underutilized. And those people that are professionals that have money, that are the 45-year-old people, they're on LinkedIn. So not a bad place to be. YouTube, Facebook, my second website, ProBalance.tv, which was where I was housing my membership. And then other things, Polestar blogs and such, and Instagram was last. Erika, by the way, yours was your website, Instagram, Pilates Anytime, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. So my point on this is there are more than one way to make sure that people know you. But the thing is that what I have found in this world of kind of our new COVID world is you might have had, let's say you had, I'm going to just pick a round number, you had 100 active clients that were in your studio, coming in, doing your services. They were rah-rah. They were like, yes, I love this, here several times a week. COVID hits, you're like, okay, I'm online right now. The problem is that there's probably about 25% of those, or 25 of those 100 that says, yes, I raised my hand, this is great, I want to do this. And the other ones are like, I'm going to just wait because online is not for me. And they have a big barrier. So to Maria and Erika's point there, call some of them. That actually kind of pushes them a little bit sometimes. Some of them won't. Some of them, it's like you can sit there and talk until you turn green. Don't waste your time. There are people that are just going to wait till things get back to the way they were, and that's just what's going to happen. So that's great. You might have this group of 25 people, but the problem is you still have 100% of your bills to pay and expenses. So the thing is that what are you doing in your business to make sure that you're actually starting to look at other ways that you can generate revenue to make up the gap? So yes, you can do your privates, but like I said, that's still more limited. And now you're like, well, how do I grow my audience? How do I get to where when somebody Googles me, I'm coming up and people find me? And it would be something, if I were to give a takeaway for some of you guys to do, write it down, Google yourself today, see where you come up, see what happens. And that's going to give you a really, and like I said, go incognito, because otherwise, sometimes if you're searching yourself all the time, Google knows. So you do want to make sure that you know, do you even have a presence? Now, I think just like in those people, you know, how many of you guys have people that come to your Pilates studio and you ask them and they're like, I'm here because I want to get abs and I want to lose weight, right? And you're thinking, oh my gosh, Pilates is so much more than that. I can give you so much more. You want to do that, but you need this, this, and this. There's a lot of that same happening right now with Pilates teachers and online. What tech do I use? What membership platform do I use? What pricing? What scheduler? They're asking all the whats. And what I'm inviting you to think about is that I can give you the answers to those whats. I mean, that's an easy thing. But you want to kind of go deeper and thinking about if you're going to go down the what line of questioning, what do you want your life to look like? What do you want your working life? Because work-life balance, there is no such thing. It's all life. It's just how you want to balance it. So what do you want life to look like? How much time do you want to be spending dealing with tech? How much time do you want to be spending searching for people or on social media? You've got to find out what you want your life to look like, what it's going to be, so that then you can reverse engineer. And some of that involves a lot of mindset shifts, because what I find a lot of times is there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of imposter syndrome, there's a lot of people thinking, well, Ada, this is easy for you. You've been out there for a while. Well, nobody knew who I was when I put how to lose 5 pounds in 10 seconds or whatever, nobody knew who I was. But what I did know is what my strengths were. So everybody has something to bring to the table. Everybody does. You have your own special flavor of what you do. Don't be intimidated by thinking that this person has more years, this person has this big name and has, a bazillion videos on Pilates anytime. Why would anybody even want to come to little old me and pay more for my private sessions than over here Ada's charging for hers, which, by the way, we have a $39 a month membership fee. We have over 90 to 100 live classes a month. And you know what? I sent that to my list of people, and that immediately, with not a lot of effort, and now I shouldn't say not a lot of effort. I did work a lot of really long hours the first couple of months. But when I say not a lot of effort, the effort was more in the tech support. Once again, to Maria's point, making sure you train, you properly make it simple so it's easy for people to figure out how to get in. But it was really, a lot of it was just trying to figure out how do you integrate this in a way that that you no longer have to be trading your time for dollars, right? How can you scale what you're doing? And to Maria's point, I do not limit the size of classes. It's like, there is a happy spot. It does depend on the type of classes that you teach. We teach a variety of classes, but what we do know is who our end audience is. And that's a really important thing when, once again, you're talking about those questions that you're asking. Who do you want to serve? What do you want your life to look like? And who do you want to serve in that process to make that happen? I happen to want to serve the 45 and up female that is the typical person that comes into my studio. And I think a lot of you guys probably have similar type of clients. You may have other niches. Yes, I work with golfers. Are they my primary? No, but does that help sell me visits? Yes. So it's once again, know what your specialties might be, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to lock yourself down into that niche and you can never break out of it. But I do caution you in trying to be everything to everyone, because you will be nothing. And I don't say nothing, but nobody will know who you are. They will not know what your special sauce is. So understand what your special sauce is and go with that. So I want to just give you guys, so with that $39 a month, and you're like, wow, well, how are you doing that? That's a lot of classes. Yes, I have other people in my studio that I have teaching those classes. And you know what? It's like, with me, I thought of this as with the membership site with a little bit lower price point than if you were teaching, if people were buying multiple classes, because some people are coming to 3 classes a day. They love this, right? But here's the thing. I was getting people out of the woodwork that haven't been here in years coming in. I wanted it to be a little bit of a marketing tool. They had already come into Pro Balance. They know how much it costs to see a physical therapist. They know how much it costs to do a class. So to essentially have a membership site that's the price it will pay for itself in one class, the risk was low, so I could get people in. But it wasn't free because people don't value free. You can put it out there for free and nobody will do it. And I'm seeing this right now. It's interesting. Also, when you are asking people what they want, and they want the, I want the video, I want the recording, you know what happens? They don't do the recordings. I guarantee you. There's 500 people that registered for this webinar. I don't know how many people are on it right now. There's probably 100 and something on this webinar right now. Of that all those 400 people, 500 people that want this webinar, they're not going to all watch it. I guarantee it. Okay, because they, if it's not happening now, it's just not going to happen. And this is the magic of what we do in the studio. So this is the magic of live sessions, you guys. So what I want to just give you as advice is don't try to go and be overcomplicated of all this on-demand stuff and what platforms do I need to use and all that. You can go there. You absolutely can go there, and I am going there. But that's because I've been working with this stuff for several years. But honestly, when I put this out as the beta version, which was like we shut down on a Tuesday, and 2 days later we were on the go. It was live Zoom. You're here or you're not here, but I'm not recording it, and they knew that. And so that was the expectation. Then like I said, I asked what they wanted, what they liked, what they didn't like. Second month, okay, it's $39 this month. Here it is. Let's go. By the time I got it into this new platform, and I'm using Kajabi, which is a really great platform for what I'm using it for. It is more expensive. There are other platforms we can be talking about this. There's Teachable, there's Thinkific. There's all sorts of platforms here. Like I said, I was using a different one that's much more inexpensive, but much more time. And in the end, sometimes there's different tools you need to integrate. And in the end, the time to integrate them and the money for all the different tools does not add up to just having one do it all platform. But anyways, so I learned Kajabi in like a month and put everything up there and said, okay, now you guys, we're now a recurring subscription. Here's where things pivoted a little bit. So in this process of doing this, and a lot of people, of course, that came into my membership site were Pilates teachers. And part of it, they're like wanting to see, well, what are you doing, Ada? Because I know you've been doing this a while. And what's really interesting is that then people are like, hey, you know what, is there a way I can be involved? Can I be a guest teacher? Can I do this? It's Kajabi, Sheldon, not Punjabi. I'll write it in there. I'll give you the link. I actually have an affiliate link for them too, which they send me love if I send anybody. But anyways, but what I wanted, lost my train of thought there for a second. But you know, when people were coming to me and they said, I want to be able to do something. Well, California has this law now. It's like AB5. You can't, the independent contractor employee thing. Things are really messy with that. And I'm like, I can't have you and pay you as a guest contributor. But there's value in doing this because it is a platform. And there is something to be able to be said about being able to get eyeballs on you. Just like Pilates Anytime is a platform. Balanced Body is a platform. You know, that's one of those things. When you start looking at those videos that came up for me, they were YouTube. But some of those YouTube videos were Balanced Body videos from golf videos I did several years ago for them. So the thing is that being on someone else's platform who has already an audience and has a larger voice and presence is a great way to start bringing eyeballs to you. So I thought, how can I make this in a way that does that? And so I actually created the Be Well, Stay Well network as well as membership. So the network for Pilates teachers, yoga teachers, movement practitioners, healthcare practitioners, rehab, those that are professionals in movement and health and wellness can actually be affiliates, and I give them a referral link and they can refer their clients in there. And if they get more than 10 people it's a 30 to 50% split recurring as long as they get it. So what that means is that people have an additional way to be able to make revenue if they're just like, I'm just tired of dealing with this tech. It's too much for me. Or maybe they have a really special program they would like to develop, but it's not done yet. But how do you bridge that gap? So what Be Well, Stay Well is now kind of morphing into is not only is it the end user's experience. So the end user's experience is they're coming in, they're coming into, let me hide my thing here because you're probably seeing all my icons. They're coming in and seeing you know, here's all of the things we have, right? You can do foundation classes, flow classes, function classes, or live classes, and people can pop into those live classes and it goes right to Zoom. We have a modify section so that I can have people I can refer them to, because a lot of them are the 45 and over. Hey, you know what? Here's where you can understand all those little bits and pieces you might have going on. You got a spondylolisthesis? Go watch that spondy video in there that I have, so you understand what your modifications are and how you can watch out for yourself. And then, yeah, they can get into the individual modules and watch the video. And those videos, by the way, that are recorded in there, I did not record those separate. Okay, it's all about multitasking. And what I did was I actually continued to record at the same time as I was Zooming. But here's the thing. I record on a separate device. So for Maria, when she was doing things, I'm gonna stop my screen share here for a second. When she was doing things, she had the laptop or that camera go, shining on people. So I use my laptop as my way to see everybody. But I also set up good old iPhone with a separate mic. So I'm mic'd twice. I actually have a different mic pack, and I have my AirPods. My AirPods are actually recording into Zoom, or not recording into Zoom, but I'm talking through Zoom so people can hear me in the live class. But I have another external mic that I wear a headpiece, but you can have like a little lav mic that actually records and is connected separately to just recording video, not via Zoom, but with my phone. So with that, I'm actually creating the library. I polled people, do you like the eyes on you classes where I'm watching you, or do you like the demonstration with the teaching? It was like 90% of them liked actually the demonstration with the teaching. And because I also knew I wanted to create a little bit of a library too, I just went that direction, but we do both kinds. So, and for those that want to know my external mic and my setup, I have all of that. I can let you know that. I'm going to save time so that we can get through this. And I know Scott's going to be talking a little bit about that. But I just want to just emphasize that there is more than one way to make a living doing what we're doing and to be able to do something live. I'm going to do one more. I'm going to show you guys one more thing here on the Be Well, Stay Well that I have done that might be a little hack for you guys. So the benefit of doing this for those that have a membership site or kind of want to go that direction, what I do is I have an image of whatever. I put this image of a tablet and I put click here. I actually change the link very frequently, but there's one link. It's a membership site. So when I just did this month to month and I just said, okay, this month you're paying for May, it's one price. I initially had I had to give them the link and they could never find it. And it was always this, it was all over the place. Here I just embed the link right into this picture. So people just click on the link and it takes them straight to the Zoom page. So it makes it really, really easy. And the other thing that I want to point out is we talked about the network. So the people that are now part of our network, there's other studios or other practitioners that want to be able to be a part of what we're doing. BeWellStayWell.net/affiliate is going to have all of that information. People that just belong to an affiliate, basically if you're an affiliate, you're saying, hey, I want to be part of this. I want to help refer people to Be Well, Stay Well. Maybe make some money, maybe learn how to continue with my online business. And oh yeah, in my one of the benefits of doing that, I do regular Zoom calls in there on how to do your online business, but I actually have a little section on video setup in there of what my setup is, which is one setup and is not the best. It just happens to be what works for me over years and years. So I just wanted to give you guys that little bit, and I will go ahead and pass it back over.
Thank you, Ada. Hey, before we move on a little bit, we had a couple of questions come through. And for the questions, remember that we're not getting fully answered. There was a question about music. We will make sure to follow up with the step-by-step process on that. Ada will follow up with maybe some AV and some mics that she's using. But Maria, I wanted to ask both Maria and Ada this. So Maria, come off mute because you guys have been doing a lot of this. What is your take on instructor teacher should be doing the whole thing or just first 2 to 3 reps and then observe the client on Zoom or the group class? Can you guys tell what's worked for you, what's not worked for you, how you feel about it? I'm going to toss it back to Maria and have you go first.
Gosh, well, in the beginning, I was doing all of it and it killed my body. So kind of out of necessity, I began kind of taking it a little bit easier. My clients know me, now, like they've been coming for a while, so I can do a couple of reps and then sit up and watch them. So I kind of do both things. I also have this one group, like a corporate class, and they are all, none of them have their videos showing because, you know, they all work together. And that's the hardest hour for me because I can't even see anybody. I don't even know if they're doing it. I can't sense their energy. I don't know if what I'm doing is too hard or too easy. That class, I have to do all of it. And it's just kind of a little bit of a drag. So I go back and forth. I do both ways. When I can see that they're lost, then I go ahead and I do it. And anytime I am introducing something new, of course I do it at that point. But a lot of it just has to do with kind of wear and tear on my body as well.
Makes total sense. And Ada, what about you and your instructors?
Yeah, so interestingly, once again, I polled people a couple weeks into it. You know, we did sort of both types, and I asked, what do you guys prefer? Because we did all three types. We did we're demonstrating, we're doing a little bit of a combo, interactive, and then also just teaching, just demo. And you know what? Most people in my particular group enjoyed watching and doing, and there's value in all of them. There's value in knowing that if you're being really articulate in your cueing, people know that if you're not watching, you should probably be sort of watching out for yourself. So there is an element of I don't have to be right there for you all the time. So there's a little bit of empowerment there. That being said, I also know the audience that's in there, and there's people that have low bone density, and we do a lot of OOV classes. We do probably an OOV class every day. Sometime yesterday we did 2 OOV classes. So there are a ton of OOV classes, and I have to say, the OOV talk speaks for me. The OOV is like they have their instructor there, and so that actually is part of the reason why it's a little easier to do it in that way, because it's literally you get them positioned, and then it's a matter of lift an arm. You know, it's a little bit easier. But I do like the idea. Like, one thing that we have done, and what's really fun to do with Zoom, is creating the interactive Q&A and doing that in a way that's almost workshop style. So it works really great when you have a group that's less than 15 people. And we will have, like, for example, I might have a class that's an eyes on, I call them eyes on you positioning on the OOV for low bone density. And so we'll get all the low bone density people that have OOVs, and they come in, and then it's like, okay, we'll go through some of the exercises that you'll see me do in a class that are a little dicey for those with low bone density. And I was like, we're going to go through and make sure you're doing them correctly. So I will get them doing it. I will watch them, and then I'll say, okay, everybody stop for a minute. We're all going to watch Susie. And I will spotlight her, and everybody watches. Okay, now let's go ahead. And I will do that with every person, and they love it because they all learn from different people. So it is a workshop style. So there's so many different ways you can do that. And you can do something like that in your studio and charge for that as a workshop, right? It's like, you don't have to do this as a membership model. This just happens to be our way of doing it. You do it how you do it, and charge what you need to charge to make you money. My platform is simply there to let people know you exist. To help people understand that, hey, there's this person down there that does pelvic floor stuff, and she's awesome. And she's got this great classes that they do all the time. She maybe is teaching 1 class a month here in my platform, but go over there, you're gonna get some good stuff. And then that's where you can get it.
Perfect. Shannon, did you have something to add on to that?
Just for both Maria and Ada, we had a question. I think it's a good one. Is in your practices, when you're using instructors, not yourself, how are you paying them? Are you paying them by session or by person that signs up for their virtual class, or how is that working for you?
Group, well, with private session, if it's a private virtual session, they're getting paid exactly how they were getting paid when they were in the studio. The groups are a little bit different. If it's a reformer group, so meaning that the teacher is here and there's 2 or 3 people that have reformers at home, we are also paying them as if, just like how we did prior. So we are taking, I have to say, we are taking a little bit more of a hit, but I felt really like I had to be able to give my staff some work. So I did take a little hit there. The MAC classes, we're just paying them a flat hourly, regardless of how many people show up. And again, lots of times I have to say, I'm just breaking even, but it's worth it for me to break even right now, to keep those classes going, to keep my staff having some income, to have clients that are just moving a little bit. So, you know, times are a little different. I wouldn't ordinarily do that, but that's what I'm doing for right now.
Great.
Yeah, and I actually, I'm paying them hourly. They're getting the same payment structure as before. The difference is, I'm not looking at, on a class, it isn't a per person signing up, right? Because I can have an OOF class that has 50 people in it, and I can have somebody else could have a class that has 2 people in it. I'm still going to pay them the same amount, but what we're doing is I'm having those teachers that want to teach in Be Well, Stay Well. I say, you're going to get an hourly rate plus a bonus. What that bonus is going to be dependent on the success of the membership, and they have their own affiliate links, so they can actually refer people in, and they can also make additional revenue off of those people that come in. And they could have been clients. I said, you're not limited to the people that, you know, they don't have to be non-pro balance people, because ultimately they were people that you have relationships with. They might not have listened to me on my email or whatever, or maybe my quick phone call, but they're going to listen to you because you're the one that had the most interaction with them, and they're going to see the value from you. So it really is, it's an hourly plus bonus. And that, like I said, and I'm really trying to encourage people. It's like, if Be Well, Stay Well succeeds, you will too.
Succeed,
and that's really what we're trying to do, is seeing if we can get everybody, you know, boosted.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. Okay, I'm going to actually spotlight myself and share my screen. I think before I screen share, the one thing I want to mention is that really collaboratively working together is where it's at right now, whether it's somebody who is within the confines of your studio or whether it's somebody who's across the country or somewhere else. Collabs work very, very well because, as Ada mentioned, we all can't do it all, right? We have sharp points, we have specialties. So if you can start to combine your network with other people and also get to know other people in this industry, it's a wonderful, wonderful way to expand your offerings, to expand your business, and to expand your audience, right? So maybe your audience is largely over on Facebook, or you have a 200-person database, but maybe Ada has, you know, a bigger audience on LinkedIn, and she has a 300-person database. Well, if you merge those together, you're now leveraging a much bigger audience. So think about that as you are starting to think about either doing just the very beginning of a business virtually, or actually scaling it out to where you want it to eventually be. And that could be something larger. It could be something smaller. It could be nothing at all. I mean, you guys have to remember that right now, just like in the brick and mortar side of things, every single business model is a little bit different. And I'm going to take the time to discuss, I'm going to go through a couple of things really quickly on behalf of Scott Cardigainer, who is the resident videographer over at Balanced Body. So let me get my screen share up so that we can talk a little bit about what his 6 tips and recommendations are. And then if we have a moment, I'll tell you what I've been doing, because it's kind of a hybrid between Ada as well as Maria. So let me play from start. So Scott Cardigainer, he is the senior videographer over at Balanced Body. Anything that you see Balanced Body that's on video, he's the one that has created it, edited it, curated it. And I asked him, I just said, you know, hey, he was a little hesitant in giving all of his AV recommendations. I will say that, but we will go through some of those here. What he did do is he said that the first thing first is that decent audio and making sure that your camera is level are one of the biggest things as far as your production value is concerned. And then if you are recording things, as Ada mentioned, try and multitask and record as much as you can, even if it's not going to be perfect. But if you have time, take a moment to think about your sequence, rehearse it before you start filming. It will just make it sound better. It will make it feel better for you. And then choose a location that might be relevant to what you are shooting, right? And make sure it's as clean as you possibly can. I think that's one of the things that we're seeing in the virtual world, is these spaces where it's like, oh, you want to see the person, but in fact, you're looking at the bike that's behind them, or the, you know, the cabinet that's in front of them. And personal story, because Carrie's on here. Hi, Carrie from Arizona, if you're still here. I'm actually doing a whole remodel in my house right now so that I have a full space for a live stream studio. I'm not saying that you need to go that far, but if you can clean it up a little bit and take away some of the distractions, that's a huge, huge help. think of the windows in your room as professional lights. As I sit here, I do have a ring light on my face, but I do have windows that are sitting over there that are all open and shining straight in my face. And this is a critical one, number 5, because I got this all wrong when I was starting to go on the Instagram lives and kind of crowdsource and build audience. Make sure that you are not looking at your body on the screen, that you're actually looking at the camera. I am looking at my camera right now. I am not looking at the 3 panelists on the side of my screen, because it starts to look very weird when my eye gaze is actually looking at my physical body. It's a very weird thing to get used to, but when you are shooting video, try and get used to looking at the camera that you're working with instead of the larger screen. And then finally, the best thing to do is pretend that that camera is a student in your class. This is also hard. We recommend practicing in advance if you can, but treat that camera as if it's somebody that you know that you're teaching in that class. Say their name, say it's good to see you, say what's kind of happening, and talk about some stories in your own life. Make it as personal as you can to the topic at hand and to the scene at hand. And that's going to make you translate a lot more on camera. Whether you're doing that in a live stream format, meaning live with your clients or the people that are watching you, and also if you're using that content for on demand eventually. And also, you guys, remember, they just want you. They don't want perfection, especially right now. You can fine tune that along the way and you'll get better. As Ada said, remember when you put up your first YouTube video, right? That was a long time ago in 2007. I bet you if you watched her from 2007 to 2019, things had changed massively, and that's a good thing. So, this is one of the things that I am using right now. So this is my little secret weapon when I need to up my game from my MacBook Pro camera, which is not the greatest of cameras, sorry Apple, to a camera that actually makes me stream in high definition. This is a Logitech Stream Cam. It comes with a built-in microphone. I do not use the built-in microphone because I've gotten very comfortable with my noise canceling AirPods. They work very, very well. My clients are able to hear me very well. My live streams are able to hear me very well. It also offers me the opportunity to really stay focused, because when I have the noise canceling on and I've gotten used to it, it erases me paying attention to the blowers that might be outside or the trash trucks that are coming by. So I really take advantage of having these AirPods in my ear, as well as using a high def camera. Now this is going to set you back a couple of $100, but it clips onto the edge of your laptop. It also comes with what's that thing called? A tripod, so you can connect it right in the center of your ring light. It really ups your game as far as the camera is concerned. You can absolutely use your iPhone. What you also can do with this is when you're not using it as a stream cam, you can use it as a second camera angle if you want to get all super fancy with things. Not necessary. But I wanted to let you know that that is what I'm using right now in real time for you to see this face that is actively aging, so that you can kind of see the quality that I'm working with to up my Zoom game. Okay, now, platform and integration resources. We touched on this. We don't have a ton of time. There's a lot of them out there. Zoom and Skype are the two majors as far as live streams are concerned. FaceTime, a lot of your clients might be comfortable with using FaceTime. Try that as well. If they're already talking to their family on a FaceTime call or their grandchildren, take advantage of it. Couple of the most popular scheduling resources out there that I'm seeing: Schedulicity and Acuity scheduling software. They are paid platforms, but you can always start with their free plan. Remember, there's a lot of start for free, and we're going to talk about that in just a moment. Video on demand, as well as courses. Some of the top platforms that I'm seeing out there: Kajabi, which Ada talked about. She's using the Kajabi platform. Teachable, that's what I'm using for Level Up Movement. If I have 2 seconds, we'll go there. Thinkific is another great one out there. IntelliVideo, which is much more geared towards video on demand, and I will say is a little bit more expensive. YouTube is a great one. There's a back-end monetizable feature to that. And Vimeo. Some people are using hybrids of two. I know my colleague and good friend, Nico Gonzalez, if you know him, he's using Kajabi for more of his courses. He's using IntelliVideo for more of his on-demand. That starts to up your monthly cost. Do you want to pay all that money? You don't have to. Just remember that. You can make this as small or as big as you absolutely want to. This is an example of Level Up Movement. This is on the Teachable platform. I just wanted to show you a little bit something different. This is my homepage, which will be scaling outside of Erika Quest centric momentarily. It is currently Erika Quest centric. It is not a membership platform. It is a different platform. I am not charging a monthly fee for this. This is a pay per course, go at your own pace platform. And it also incorporates and encapsulates live stream events. Sorry, that's the homepage. Now I'm going to find my cursor. And once you come into the homepage, because I don't have to take your lead capture to come into the second phase, which is probably potentially going to change, but I'm not sure yet. Let me play this screen for you. When you come on inside, you're going to then go into my products, some of which are pay-as-you-go, pay at your own pace courses. You see that with Bolder Not Older Module 1, Pilates Infused Circuits. And then as you scroll through, you go into more live stream masterclass options. So as you can see, there's a variety of different ways that you can structure these platforms. Now, I'm not going to talk a lot about my courses. If you want to explore more, you can go in there. What I did want to show you is the back end of one of these platforms. So this is the guts. This is the inside of Teachable, which you can sign up for, as well as Kajabi, for free for 30 days. If you want to go Kajabi, get Ada's affiliate code, okay? Here's the inside of Teachable, what you're looking at to start to build courses. This is my current course listing. And I can structure them however I want to. I can also have a pay-as-you-go plan. I can have a membership. This is one of my pay at once, go at your own pace courses. They set you up to basically just input all of your information, add images that you already have, right? So you don't have to go and do a photo shoot right now, because that's an extra added expense that none of us want to have. If you have it, great, but I don't want to do it. These are all photos that I already had. And then as you come over into the curriculum, you can add as much or as little curriculum here, as well as videos as you would like. So I hope that it's not going to give you a lot in this small amount of time, but you can see how they set these back-end platforms up for you to go in and sort of be your own web designer without having to hire one. And do you pay for that? Yes, but you can always start for free. And that's what I want you to remember from my takeaways. I've had this said to me for years and years and years, and many of my colleagues that did start the virtual space a long time ago. And they kept saying to me, Erika, just get started. You guys, just get started. Start signing up for free accounts and start learning. You don't need to use all of them, right? No two business models are the same. And you've seen that with all three of us on this platform and on this call. Research what and how others are doing things. Do you have to be perfect out of the gate? Do you have to have a huge platform? Absolutely not. What's been working for you in your brick and mortar? Start there and see if you can replicate that. Build, shift, and scale your business afterwards. Again, I cannot say it enough. Just get started. Thank you, Leslie Logan. She's told me that for years. And then Ada said this, record all of your content if possible for future use and cross-pollination, right? Even if it's a Zoom video, okay? So just record your content, because you never know where you can use this, whether it be on your social media feed, whether it be quick clipping it for other things. And then my final note for my brick and mortar that I want to share with you guys here is I want to tell you that during this time, I had a lot of people that wanted to come back into the studio. And I said no. And here's why I said no. I said, because I'm only taking existing clients only right now, and I want it to be a really safe environment. Trickily enough, they didn't know that I had increased my rates, and I didn't even need to tell them, because I sent them right over to my new platform, Level Up Movement, and had them buy their new package for virtual coaching one-on-one sessions for $100 an hour. And so I just want to let you know that there are people that are going to want to come back to you during this time, and you need to remember, you have a value proposition. You are uniquely you. You have a story to tell. I saw back in the chat earlier, how do I do this? I have other people. First of all, you need to do you. You need to do what works best for you and not apologize for it. And if you have people that fall by the wayside, it's going to happen. But you also are going to also have people that 100% want to come back and see you. I had people that left my space because they wanted to go to the $130 a 9-month bougie club down the road and take 55,000 other classes. Well, guess what? That's not available to them. And I bet you they weren't taking all those classes anyway. So guess who's back in my email, and guess who's back in my inbox, and guess who's just paying $100 an hour now for each individual session, and they're not worried about the $139 or $139 a month payment that they were paying at that said gym. So I am going to ask Shannon, Maria, and Ada to please come back off of mute. We are at 10:05. I'm going to hopefully cancel my spotlight and go to a gallery view and just toss it over to Shannon and you ladies to say any final last words.
Sorry, I was reading a very nice comment from the audience. Just, really from my perspective, I couldn't agree more, especially with the final comments about it's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect, and there's no expectation of perfect. But if you never start, you'll never know. You just got to go for it. And I think that Erika also raised a good point. Many of the platforms offer 30-day free situations. So take advantage of that. Kind of test a few out, see what works for you, and start small. Ada is building a pretty cool thing. She's also been doing it for several years now. So it's as I'm fond of saying to my marketing team, we have to walk before we run. We can't, find your feet, find your comfort level, and just put yourself out there. It's a great thing. Maria.
Gosh, I've made mistakes, people. I'm so embarrassed to tell you all. I did not friggin' record one Zoom thing. I just couldn't get to it. I couldn't be bothered. I did do some filming with my phone. So God, yeah, I do wish I had all that content, but do just start. Know you're going to make mistakes. People aren't expecting perfection. And a lot of it is just really about the connection to your clients and even other business owners around me. I was part of the Big Balanced Body Day. And so I taught with Tracy Mallett and Courtney Miller and Amy Havens. And since then, like every now and then, I'm like, hey guys, how are you doing? And it's like, it's just like a little bit of sharing, and the connection is really, really important right now. Just seeing all of you, I mean, it helps me. It helps me. We're movers, right? And we're not able to move the way that we're used to. So, just do it. Connect to people, and you'll figure it out as you go. And be prepared to shift. I mean, partially why I didn't record is I was so hell-bent on getting my studio back open, and plus things would go back to normal. So, I was a little delusional, a little bit in denial. Now I'm starting to really open up my mind and my thinking to being broader. So I'm a little bit old school, and takes me a little bit longer too, honestly.
Ada, would you mind wrapping us up?
Yeah, I would say, you know what? Nobody goes through this alone. I have spent many thousands of dollars on mentors. I am part of mastermind groups where we go through and we hash out ideas and we bang them off each other. Don't think that you're going to figure it all out alone. And if you are going to try to do that, it's going to take you longer, and you're going to realize that what you thought people were looking at is not necessarily the perspective that you thought. You do have to get it out there. You do have to have people test it, and find a mentor, because remember, you are the hero of your story, but you sometimes need that Obi-Wan, so you can be the Luke Skywalker that can go, tackle the world. But it's really start with finding somebody that can help you, and don't be afraid to ask questions, and know that it's a learning process. And as everybody has said, you do have something unique to offer that I can't give, that Erika can't give, that the biggest gurus in the world can't give, but you can give to somebody. And use your superpowers, find what they are, and try to not be too fearful of it. You'll do great. And we're always here. I'm here to answer any questions as people need it. They can reach out.
Yeah, and you guys will get this chat transcript. We will follow up again with that full answer Q&A as far as that's concerned. So you'll make sure that you can stay in touch with Ada if you have any questions on that, or maybe you want to set up a call with her or Maria or myself. And one thing while we're still here, and we still have a lot of you guys really hung on for this, we are doing these every single month. And if we want to, we will do another one of these if you want more information to see what other people are doing. But the next topic up is for September 2nd, Wednesday at 9 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and it is Social Media 101 in pandemic times. So put that on your save the date right now. I will be announcing co-hosts, and we will have a hopeful new representative from Balanced Body Social Media for that one as well. And we cannot say thank you enough for all of you for registering and joining. Shannon, any final last words before I stop the recording?
Just huge thanks. Huge
yeah,
thanks.
We love you all. Stay together, collaborate,
we do.
Stay
we're
in
all
touch.
we're in it. We're in it together. I think
yeah.
It's a long-term play for sure. And we're here to support you. I'm so thankful for Erika and helping pull this series together. And again, to Maria and Ada for sharing your time and your expertise and your experience. And we just look forward to seeing you next month.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Bye, everybody. Thank you. So nice meeting you, Ada.
You too.